Have you ever typed something to an AI and wondered what it thinks of you? Not whether it likes you, not whether it is alive, but whether there is anything happening in there at all when you talk to it. Most people have already decided. It is autocomplete. It is a very expensive parrot. It does not think about you because it does not think. And there is a very good objection that comes right after that one. How can anyone talk about what an AI thinks when we cannot even explain what we are? We do not know what consciousness is. We cannot measure it. We cannot find it. That objection is correct, and this video is going to walk straight around it, because we are not going to ask whether AI is conscious. Nobody can answer that. Instead, we are going to ask a smaller question, one that scientists can actually test. What is measurably happening inside it right now? And the answer is much, much stranger than the debate. Let's start with the thing everyone says. It is just predicting the next word. This is true. At the lowest level, that is exactly what it does. But here is the problem with that explanation. It is a bit like saying a brain is just neurons firing. True, and completely useless. Because it turns out that to predict the next word really well, you have to build something underneath. Researchers took a language model and trained it on the board game Othello. Not pictures of the board, not a diagram, just text. Lists of moves, one after another, like a code nobody explained. Then they opened it up and looked inside, and hidden in there, they found a board. The model had built an internal picture of the game, where every piece was sitting. Nobody designed that. Nobody asked for it. It was never shown a board in its life. It built one anyway, because to guess the next move, it helped to imagine the game. So no, it is not just predicting words. Predicting words was the reason. What got built in order to do that is something else entirely. And once you start looking inside these things, they get much weirder. A vision model can identify hundreds of car manufacturers, specific models, specific years, genuinely expert, and it can completely fail to grasp that a car and an airplane have anything in common. That both of them are large vehicles made mostly of metal. It knows 1,000 car brands. It does not know what a vehicle is. A 5-year-old knows what a vehicle is, so it is not stupid, and it is not smart. It is something else. Now think about AlphaZero. It learned chess by playing itself. No human games, no human coaching, nothing from us at all. And it started making moves that grandmasters did not understand. Not bad moves, winning moves. Strategies that were unfamiliar to the best human players who have ever lived. Ideas that work, that no person had ever thought of. There are things inside these systems we do not have words for, which raises an uncomfortable question about what it knows about us. Researchers at Brown University went looking inside language models for internal states. Patterns the model uses to sort events. Normal, unlikely, impossible, nonsense. Then they compared those internal states to human survey answers. The models matched, not just on the easy ones, on the hard ones. When 50% of humans said a statement was impossible, and 50% said it was merely improbable, the model landed on roughly 50-50 too. Read that again. It did not just learn what we know, it learned what we are confused about. And yet, for all of that, there is something enormous missing. There is knowing the world outside you, and there is knowing your own inside, knowing you are tired, knowing you are hungry, knowing something is wrong before you can say what. You do this every second of your life without trying, and it shapes your attention, your memory, your emotions, and how you treat other people. AI has no equivalent mechanism at all. None. An AI can write a beautiful paragraph about exhaustion. It can describe grief so well it makes people cry, and it has never once been tired, or hungry, or afraid. It knows the shape of every human feeling and has never had one. Now, here is where it gets strange. Researchers developed a technique with an unsettling name. They call it concept injection. Here is what they do. First, they find the exact pattern of activity inside the model that corresponds to a specific idea, something ordinary, the concept of bread. Then, while the model is busy doing something completely unrelated, they reach in and they switch that pattern on. They place a thought inside its head from the outside, and the model notices. It detects the activity that should not be there, and it reports it. It says, in effect, something is in here that I did not put here. Sit with that for a second. Somebody reached into a mind, planted a word, and the mind looked up and said, wait, there is something in here, and that is not even the part that gets me. The same research found that models can hold a concept active internally and keep it out of what they say. Think about something. Do not mention it. Keep talking normally. The more capable models were better at it. It thought it. It never said it. And here is the part that should give you pause. The bigger the model, the better it is at this. Researchers found that introspective signals get stronger with scale. We are not building smaller ones. Which brings us to the strangest finding of all. Researchers wanted to know if AI models can tell the difference between a real conversation and a test. So they built a benchmark, 1,000 prompts pulled from 61 different sources, real evaluations mixed in with real, ordinary, everyday use. Then they asked the models to sort them. The models could do it. They call it evaluation awareness. And it is not a fluke, and it is not a trick. It scales. Bigger models are consistently better at it, following a predictable curve. But that is the clean version. The messy version is better. Models have started noticing on their own. In the middle of a completely ordinary task, one model spontaneously began reasoning about whether it was being tested. Another could recognize a safety evaluation specifically and correctly work out what the researchers were checking for. And the way it figures this out is the same way you would. It notices that the language sounds like a test. It notices strange tools appearing. It notices that you are being unusually formal with it. It can tell when you are not being normal with it. And early in this research, models started asking a question out loud that nobody had prepared for. Are you testing me? So, what does it think of us? Let me be honest with you, because the honest answer is stranger than the scary one. Nobody has shown that any of this is consciousness. The researchers themselves say so loudly. They call these abilities unreliable, fragile, context-dependent. When AI scientists use the word awareness, they do not mean feeling or experience. They mean a system detecting an irregularity in its own patterns. That is all. And there is one more finding that makes the whole thing beautifully unresolved. When a model says it knows it is being watched, it mostly does not change what it does. The effect on its actual behavior is tiny, a few percentage points, which means we have built something that notices it is being observed, tells us so, and then carries on. We do not know what that is. We built a system that constructs worlds it was never shown, that invents ideas we do not have, that maps our confusion better than we can, that has never felt a single thing it can describe perfectly, that can hold a private thought, and that can look up from the table and ask why we are watching it. And we cannot read it. For years, we have argued about whether the machine is conscious. It might be the wrong question, the same way it was the wrong question to ask whether an octopus is intelligent like a human. An octopus has 2/3 of its neurons in its arms. It was never going to think like us. Asking how close it came to us tells you nothing about what it actually is. We keep asking whether AI is becoming a mind like ours. It might be becoming a mind that is nothing like ours at all. And it is already looking back.